There are times when I'm probably not a lot unlike you, when in light of all the stuff that's going on around us, I just got to step back and get out of my own skin. Sometimes that's just sitting at the kitchen table early in the morning with a cup of coffee. Maybe it's an early morning walk. Maybe it's just coming here and making some circles around the back 40. And I asked myself, Don, what have you learned over the past 8 or 9 months? I have learned that life, in many ways, doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now. You see good people struggle. You see many of you even that maybe your dreams are kind of on the back burner for a while. And sometimes every single day is a test of our fortitude and our courage and our faith. And you think about all the stuff that's gone on, obviously the virus is probably the thing that's changed us the most, but there's the struggles financially that many of you are undergoing. There's social unrest, and no matter what side of the aisle we're on, the election has been kind of a tough thing to deal with. So there's time for deep introspection about what's important to us and what's not. And I know one thing, I've got to learn to listen more. Instead of being so quick to spout off my opinions about stuff or saying nothing at all, just listening to the heartbeat of those closest to you. Our faith has been tested. Our church has been tested. Our patriotism has been tested. The very fiber of who we are has been tested. And hopefully in the middle of all that, what we do here on Sunday or Thursday or just watching us online, that we give you a modicum of strength to get through the day. But underneath it all, I know I have, and I think many of you have, I've discovered the incredible power of kindness. That power of kindness that is at the heart and soul of a place like Heartland Children's Home. But kindness starts with little things, like holding the door open for someone who's behind you getting into a building. Maybe saying hello to a stranger who looks lost, or an envelope with some cash in it to give to somebody who's not used to receiving help. Maybe a blanket for a newborn child, or a phone call late in the day to somebody who's alone. And miracles do not have to be big. The gospel for today sounds like a big deal, feeding the 5,000. But the miracle is in that little boy. Because the first reaction of the disciples was to tell the people to go home and to say there's not enough to go around. But the little boy gets up and he's got 5 loaves and 2 fish, and he hands it over to Jesus. And instead of saying it's not enough, what Jesus does is he takes it and he blesses it and he starts to share it. And in the sharing, there's plenty to go around. It kind of reminded me of a Sunday just before we had to close down for a while. And one of my favorite topics is egg money. I love egg money. And I gave the kids an egg with a dollar bill in it. And on the way out the door, one of the little girls, she has her egg, opens it, and hands me the dollar bill. And she said, Pastor Don, if I put this in the love bucket, will it make a difference? And I said, I guarantee you, if you put that $1 in the love bucket today, next Sunday there'll be $5 there. And she said, how's that going to happen? And I said, it's none of your business. It's a miracle. It's just going to happen. And speaking of miracles, Pam and Joe, years ago, I don't even know, 25, 30 years ago, came home from being with their cousin in Boerne, Texas at Heartland, and said, Don, this is a place that at some point in your life you got to go. It's a place that would mean something to you, and it would mean something to the church. And I said, yeah. Everybody wants me to go somewhere. Well, it turned out that Mike and Ruth's daughter, Amy, passed away. And they asked if I would come down there and do the service for them. And so we did. And Amy's ashes are buried in their memorial garden on their 18-acre farm. And after the funeral, took some time to walk through the very humble place called Heartland Children's Home. And I I saw the fragile kids in their beds. I think of now the twins, they're in high school, and Crystal is 33. But a lot of kids go there to die. They go there to live, and some get to be adopted, which was part of the package that you got when you hooked up with me. We spell it Q. But every child there has a different journey, and some of the ashes of the kids are buried right there on the farm. But there is something that all those people share at Heartland, and it's called peace and safety and love and kindness, with a good dose of chaos when that many people are in the same house. And for 20 years, we took kids and went there, 20 years in a row. Now, it's been a while since we've been back, and we probably won't go back like that forever. But in some ways, as you can kind of tell by what Ruth said, and I think Mike said like 7 words, right, which is about par for the course, But we are probably more connected and closer than ever. And the power of that connection is called prayer. Without trying to, over the years, Mike and Ruth and their daughter Dawn and their family have taught me what religion is all about. Because religion is not about the label. Religion is about the journey and the kindness and the giving of your all. And I found out that Ruth is Baptist, Mike is Jewish. And so when I went to seminary, I found out that when you take a Baptist and someone who's Jewish, you add them together, divide by 2, out pops a Lutheran. So we've turned them into Lutherans over the years. But as we worship this morning, we are blessed having friends like Mike and Ruth. We are blessed to have this place. And one of the things I've been so scared about over the 8 or 9 months is would we over time, and doesn't look like it's getting any better too soon, but it may, will we stay connected? I was so afraid that when people stopped coming here that somehow we would get separated and people would forget, and that hasn't happened. And it's not going to happen. Because people like Heartland and Joe and Pam and their journey, and all of you have taught me that the church is not just this. The church is what happens when we go out the door and live our lives every day. And as the numbers go up, as uncertainty can mount, I see this little boy sharing 5 loaves and 2 fish among 5,000 people. And what does Jesus do? He doesn't bat an eye. He takes the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and he gives thanks, and he starts sharing it, and there's plenty to go around because the miracle is in the sharing. And I see people like Mike and Ruth and Dawn and other Mike sharing everything they have. So kids and families who can take care of themselves have a bit of hope and peace in what is an unfair journey. All I realize is this: however little or much I have, and however little or much you have, when we share it, there's always enough to go around. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed.